Hillary Clinton has found a lot of people to blame for her defeat in the presidential election last fall. Jim Comey, Bernie Sanders, Jill Stein, those dastardly Macedonians and their content farms. Most people sort of scoff at those explanations. So now Hillary has a different one. She's accusing women of sexism against themselves. Watch this.
I think it's about the stage that a young woman finds herself at any particular point in time. Actually, the research is pretty clear. If you're a young, college-educated woman and you are starting off in the workforce, you are pretty much at wage parity with your counterpart, a young male college graduate. By the end of your 20s, you no longer are. Once you decide, if you do, to be married, to have a family, you fall even further behind. You don't yet understand all of the sort of invisible signals and attitudes that are at work that can hold you back.
Christy Setzer is a Democratic strategist, president of New Heights Communications, and she joins us tonight. Christy, it's great to see you.
It's great to be here.
Hard to imagine more patronizing explanation. So here Hillary Clinton loses the majority of married women, women who are out of their 20s, just the majority of them, women who've had the experiences she just described. And she's basically saying, you just don't understand what it's like to be a woman in America. Well, they do, because they are, and they voted against her.
I don't think she's patronizing married women. I think she's actually specifically talking to the Bernie supporters who are in their 20s who didn't support her. And look, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a good idea to tell people who didn't vote for you that they were wrong. I don't think that's actually an excellent strategy. But I will say, as a woman who is 40 years old, that this actually spoke directly to me and my lived experience, which is that yes, for the early stages of my career, I did believe that I was given every opportunity. By the time I was in my late 20s, I did see the men who had exactly my same level of experience getting tapped for much bigger jobs and very few of the women. So I do think that if you haven't ever experienced that, then you don't actually connect with Hillary on that point. You don't necessarily see her as somebody who has had a lot of sexism thrown at her, had a lot of different challenges thrown at her, and yet she's come out on the other side, she's still fighting, she's still swinging.
Well, I can see it spoke to you. But it didn't speak to the majority of women in your position, because they actually didn't vote for her. That's what I found so striking about this. She described this life progression, and when you get to the end of it, you'll know the truth. Well, the women who have actually gotten to the end of it know the truth. They're like, I don't want more Hillary Clinton. Right. But what struck me even more, though, was her contention in this interview and many others that having a female president is substantively different from having a male president, and we need one. And my impression was we were supposed to believe that the differences between men and women are so minuscule that you can actually change your sex just by saying so. You don't need surgery or anything. You just say, I'm a different sex, and we have to agree that you are, because the differences are so small. She's saying, no, the differences are so profound that you'll have a different country if you have a female president. How does that? No, I'm serious. How does this work?
You're conflating two very different things. You're conflating.
No, same thing.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the idea that you want to vote for somebody who has understood where you're coming from, right? And whether that person is male or female, you want somebody who you think can look at your life and say, I get it. I understand. You probably have the same fears, worries, hopes, and aspirations that I do. And I think that she is saying, and I believe this, that women have a lot of things in common and often have a lot of the same experiences, hopes, fears, aspirations, et cetera, in a way that, frankly, I don't believe that Donald Trump would understand where I am coming from, where I've been, where I would like to go.
And yet, again, the majority of 69-year-old grandmothers voted for Trump. But here's my question. What are the specific qualities that would make a woman a different and better president than a man? And I want to warn you that this is a minefield of stereotypes here. So as a liberal, you've got to pretend that no generalization is allowable about women. So how are you going to answer my question?
I will answer your question by telling you what my experience has been and what spoke to me about her campaign. There was a moment in which Hillary Clinton sat there giving testimony on Benghazi, and it came to be the 13th, 14th hour of her testimony. She had exhausted everyone else in the room. She answered question after question after question. She was proving yet again that she was smarter than almost everyone there, that she could actually answer it. She had not just stamina and skill and smarts, but she basically faced everyone down. And I think that women across America in that moment said,
But how
for
is
you.
that?
Good for
okay,
you, lady.
So she's got enormous stamina. I've always thought that about her, and she's pretty tough, except when she's playing the victim. But what was specifically female about this? She hit this the whole campaign. It's a glass ceiling. I'm a woman. By the way, I'm a woman. Woman here. Woman. Woman. Well, who cares? I don't understand why it's important if men and women are basically the same.
I don't think men and women are
so
basically
what qualities
the same.
do women have
arguing that
men don't have that make them better presidents?
I believe that in the same way that you might believe that African Americans are facing different things each day than white men are experiencing, that it's not too big of a leap to think that women are facing different things each day than men are. Say, for example, the universal experience of women. Let me finish,
but
please.
That's not the argument.
The universal experience that women have of being in a meeting, saying something, the point's not heard, a man says it, and then suddenly says that's a great idea, right? These are small and subtle things, right? But these are very, very relatable experiences that, again, that if you are a woman and you listen to Hillary Clinton and you say, I get it. I've been there. And frankly, she's going to look out for me in other ways because she understands what I've been through in this way.
Yeah, I sort of understand. Again, women didn't feel that way. But final question is, do you think women have better judgment? Do you think they're stronger under pressure? I mean, is there some quality of being a woman that makes you a better president, potentially? Because she kept suggesting that. I never figured out what she was talking about. And I'm not against a woman president, by the way. I'm not arguing that.
I do. I think that women are sort of, as in the way that anybody who is not typically in a position of power, women are more self-aware of the dynamics that are at play, right? Women are more aware of, both the ways in which women treat men treat women, blah, 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 right? So I think that necessarily, particularly in the roles that she's had as Secretary of State, where you have to experience diplomacy, understand where other people are coming from, I think that makes her inherently more empathetic. And there's lots of reasons to vote for her.
I would say women seem to have a lot of power, certainly in my life. But otherwise, thank you, Christy.
Thank you.